Dili maka-interrupt ang internet connection nako karon kay since this morning sige good og kaputol ang ako ang discussions kay hinay ang internet because we have started final oral defense no for the graduating students. So whole day ilahang defense and online. So daghan gyud ang faculties nga nagamit karon sa internet. Anyway, so for this session, we will just actually continue our discussion on share and moment in beams, no? So, di ba, na ansiran. So, out of time ta. So, our main agenda for this session ng youth is isolve lang nato to ang nabilin nga problem, no? So, mo lang na siya. And then, on Thursday, we will be having a new method nga i-discuss, no? Dili siya new topic because the topic is still under share and moment in beams, but new method, no, in solving share and moment in beams. So kato siya nga method class is actually murag mo to siya ang shortcut ba for us to plot the share and moment diagram without writing the equations, you know, per segment. So sige lang, on Thursday mo na siya to ang main agenda. For today, continue lang ta sa to ang share and moment equations na method, no? Anyway, kanang also I'd like to inform you ahead of time that that on next week we will be having our quiz number 1. But dili siya kanang ato ang conventional approach sa quiz, no? So dili siya di na ko siya matag sinyo as asynchronous. So supposedly if face-to-face pa ni siya this activity
Sir, galag ka, sir.
Sir, pikit-pikit, sir.
Sir, galag ka, sir.
or this quiz nga evaluation is
Sir, wala. Dili na mo
board work,
ma-clear.
no? Student sa classroom, maglinya sa gaw. Kung ano po ang internet for a while. How about this? Okay na ba ang audio?
Again daw, sir.
Putol-putol audio ni mo, sir. Okay na. Putol-putol audio ni mo, sir. Mga sir, hala. Okay na, class?
Okay na, sir.
For sure, ha?
Pikit yun day, sir.
Dili.
Sir, dili gyud ka na mo mabatian putol-putol.
Ma-compromise lang ato ang lecture today.
Patuloy na part na mo nabatian, sir, ma-compromise ang lesson today. Maura after and before ana wala na.
Hello class. Okay na ba ang audio? Hala, uy, nagsugod na po na internet for a while ha. Yes sir. Okay, very good. Ni participate or ni cooperate na si internet. For a while, makita na akong share na screen. Kaya pa na akong makita. Okay. Anyway, so mo to siya class no nga. Bye next. So, mag-quiz number 1 na ta. And ang setup is somewhat similar sa to ang enrollment na flow. Okay? So, it will be a one-on-one quiz. So, each of you will be given allotted time, no? So, 5 minutes lang ang quiz. So, it is just one problem na gid akong ihatag sa inyo ha class. Of course, ang topic is kaning share and moment in beams. Okay? So, ako lang balik ko no nga kung sa face-to-face pa ni katuning board work unta ni siya no. Gawas tanan student and then ang makasulod sa classroom is upat lang ka student no at a time. So, duha ka student sa whiteboard then duha ka student sa chalkboard. Ito nga nila ang board to solve for the given share and moment in beans. So, dili ko mabalaka if picture ninyo inyong given and ihatag ninyo sa inyong classmates no okay ra jud kaayo ko I will prepare each gilang pabalik of course kana pud ang mga viable and possible pud nga mga situations or scenarios class no so it's just that mo to siya ang setup sa to ang quiz no it will be a one-on-one nga quiz so I hope nga mag-prepare mo class ha so prepare in a sense ka mag-study as well as ang sa inyo pong equipment mo or sa inyo pong resources so for those nga wala naka laptop so lisod man gid siya no nga i-share ang mag-share og screen sa phone siguro so kuan na lang siguro ang style ana nato no pwede naman siguro ma-open cam and then um, show me the solution no nga imong gi-solve. So ana na lang siguro ang ato ang style para makita na ko ang imuhang output. Then for those pod nga naka-laptop so or na IPC, so you have the freedom if mag-share screen ka and then you will be solving using a virtual whiteboard or sa imong papel ra gyapon ka mag-solve no so there are students man good nga of course dili comfortable na mag-solve virtually so mas comfortable na mag-solve lang sa papel so pwede ra sad na siya then at the end of your session no at the end of your time um ipakita nimo ang imong output no so i-focus mo siya sa camera nga mabasa nako no and makita nako ang inyong answer okay so inaana siya nga setup so each one of you will be given 5 minutes to solve for the share and moment in beams and then next student na po dayon no so basically if we have 120 minutes di ba ta per session. So, 2 hours man. So, in 1 hour, 60 minutes, naka-accommodate ta o pila man? 12 students kung tag 5 minutes, no? So, in 10 minutes, duha man ka student times 6. So, 12 students. So, meaning in 2 hours, sa atong isa ka session, 24 ka students, di ba? But, of course, considering the transition, mag-take, magina siya og time gihapon, no? So, probably naasa 15 to 20 ka students na ma-accommodate no per meeting. So you are 40 di ba ka buok no dari nga klase. So kung tag 15 it will take 3 meetings no or 3 sessions. But hopefully ma-cater nato siya no by 2 sessions lang alphabetical order ni sir or random. So I'll be generating a randomized list of students no so random siya. So I'll be giving you the list kaya para familiar niyo ang flow ba, no? Makita, sir. Ay, yes, sir. Nakakaba, sir. Okay. Kaganina ni. So, ato siya, no? Nag-announce ko karon kay para maka-prepare pod mo sa inyo nga part ba. So, you have 1 week to prepare. So, mag-start ta by next week, Monday. But unfortunately, Monday is election, di ba? So, probably, if i-declare na siya nga holiday, then we will be setting a makeup class. Ana lang yun siguro class. And then, if dili po siya i-declare nga holiday, so, makabutar na ba mo class?
Yes, sir.
21 naman dahil mo, no? Lagi no, mga tiguang naman dahil mo. So, mambutar tang tanan, ana, no? Sige. So, anyway, regardless if holiday siya or not, I think we will set up a makeup class na lang yun siguro. Ay, para po na, dili
Sir,
siya
mao ang topic
gamay.
sa quick, sir, ba? Share and moment in beams lang.
Yes, share and moment in Beam ang ato ang coverage sa quiz. So mo lang ni siya to ang topic na quiz. So one problem lang ako ihatag sa inyo ha. So one problem lang ang inyo hang isolve no during the quiz. So ano lang siya. So yahay mo next week no kay instead nga 2 hours atong meeting 5 minutes lang ang inyong ma-spend kay ang imuhang time is 5 minutes lang man di ba each. So after that pwede na ka mag unsa pa imong buhaton diyan. And then pagka second day on Thursday anang next week. So for those nga nahuman na adtong first day also so maybe maghatag na lang siguro ko og seat work ana no. Kay para dili po mo magtanga ang others. So I'll be giving seat work for that. Then kato po naka-schedule on Thursday. So ila pong seat work is on Monday or kanang sa ato ang makeup class. So ana lang ang ato ang flow siguro. Sige lang, I'll be strategizing the full details regarding that matter, no? Para ma-implement and ma-execute din nato siya. Gusto din ako ni siya ma-push na activity class kay para ma-assess din ako ang inyong learnings regarding this topic no nga share and moment in beams. Kaya di ko gusto mo di ko musugot nga mo graduate mo sa ako ang subject nga mechanics of deformable bodies na dili ka balo mag-graph sa shear and moment in beams. So, di ka balo mag-plot sa diagram sa shear and moment in beams. Di ko gusto maulawan pag abot niya sa higher list and then mapangutan na mo sa inyong instructor. Kinsa man imong mechanics nga nung di makakabalo ano yung at sa diagram or what. So that is if makapasar po na nga subject, no? So of course, I'm hoping for the best, but wala po ko'y mabuhat if ang inyong pong activities or evaluations kay dili po siya cut no for the passing grade. Actually, katong midterm yun na grade, na akto'y additional points, no? So naghatag ko additional points because as we have discussed last time na if na maka-answer atong ako ang yata na problem or na question, I'll be giving additional points. So na students na instead of 3.25 ang iyahang grado, iyahan lang yung raw score based on sa iyahang output. Unsa man eh? Schedule, sir. Unsa ni nga koan grupo?
Lunag, sir.
Kasi sa galing supposedly inyong hang schedule sa defense.
Friday, 10:30 a.m., sir.
Pero busy na sa sir mo na sir.
Ay, oo, tama. Wala
Sa first
si.
day namin, sir.
So, nagpa-early mo. Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Next week,
Konag,
sir.
sir, amo ilisan, sir.
Kaya may itlog na sila kaunan, sir.
Nagunsa silang konat?
Pag may itlog.
May 12 daw sila.
Okay, tuod, nag-communicate na sila. So, bakantihan ako. Anyway, kadali ha. pwede i-kuan na lang po ni siya sa messenger. I-inform ko sa messenger kay para makita po na ako kay basig kung malimtan ako ba.
PM na lang, sir.
Oo, palihog na lang ko ha.
Pero magpasin niyo to sa sir.
Hmm?
Amo na yung sir kung ipasin sa pang panel.
Oo, need pong mo pasign sa panel.
Okay na ba?
So, okay ra ko kung mag-resced mo. As long as okay po sa inyong panel and sa inyong advisor. Wala dyan ko issue-an ako magpa-resced mo. So, May 5, no? So, di ba na may 9 a.m. to 10:30?
Yes, sir.
So, na-istorya na po nila nga grupo. Di ba fully book man taon Thursday? So, kato sila nga grupo, dito sila ka-defensa na nga din. Sige, so ako to silang pulahan. Sige, kamo ang si Ma'am Grace na lang ang kulang, no? And si Sir Israel. Sige, kato lang. Then after ni siya permahan tanan sa inyong panel members, isa na lang sa ako sa messenger. And then update tong Google Drive itong folder. Kaya dito ko ga-base inyong output. Kaya para ako na rin i-confirm ang inyong schedule. Then katong fees, kato na lang dayon. May 5 doon sa karon, May 2. So sige lang. Sige, God bless. Okay, so sorry for the interruption class mo. Asa gani ko? Sa itong giyaw-yaw? Makeup class na lang, sir. Oo, makeup class ta. O sige to, kung last gi-inform sa inyo class, budget lang nawala akong train of thoughts. Kadali ha. Ang sa to class? Sa atong quiz, di ba to? So, mo to siyang setup ha. And then, sige lang. Sige. So, for now, ato lang i-continue ato ang discussion aning shear and moment in beams no using the shear and moment equations. Sige, so let us solve situation number 2. So, we have here the given beam. So, simply supported, no? Kay hinge and pin support at both ends. And then, question is, write the shear and moment equations for the beam shown. Determine the maximum shear and moment, then neglect the weight of the beam. Sige. So, of course, first step na to is compute for the reactions no, at these supports. So, we know that a hinge support at A will have two reactions, diba? But based on the external loads applied, wala man tayo forces on x-axis, diba? So our reaction no, on x-axis is just equal to 0. And then for AY, we have to compute for that, no? And then for DY. Sige. But before we will compute for the reactions, ato sa resolve ang ato ang varying load into concentrated load. So by doing that, mas easier na to ma-determine ang iyahang moment arm, no? So the resultant now of this varying load is just equal to 1/2 times 36 times the span, no? Over span sa imuhang varying load, which is 3 meters. Therefore, the resultant force now of the varying load is equal to 54 kilonewtons. Now, the question is, asa ni nag-act ang ato ang resultant force? Anyone? Any idea? If asa nag-act sa ato ang beam, ang resultant force of your varying load? So, at what point on the beam nag-act ang resultant force sa imuhang varying load? Sige, class. Anyone? Any idea? Wala yung idea, class? Kirby? Si isa to siya ay apelyido, si Shu Contreras. How about si Miss Valdueza? Shane Can.
Sir, sa ganito, sir.
So at what
Bakit din,
point
sir?
on the beam nag-act? So at what point on a given beam nag-act ang ato ang resultant force no for this varying load? Or anyone from that class? Sir, gani nakuha ang 1/2. Sorry po, nga late. Sir, wala ako yung mic and idea, sir. Sorry. So it's fine. So the 1/2 class, no? Okay. Di ba we have discussed this one sa ato ang introductory pa lang. Sir, wala point B and C, ana, sir. So later, we will establish point point B and C. Ito, ha? Okay. Sige, so this is actually from statics pang discussion class, no? That if you are to convert for the uniformly distributed load, asa man na mag-act ang imuhang concentrated load or imuhang converted pointed load sa imuhang distributed load. So of course, the answer is at its centroid, no? So centroid na mag-act ang imuhang kuan class resultant force for uniformly distributed load. So similarly with uniformly varying load. So sa centroid na siya mag-act. Ha? So remember that one class kay basin mapangutan-an mo ba niya? Di mo katubag. Now, the question is, asa na siya na-locate? So of course, basic pa lang na siya, di ba? Geometry, asa pa na siya, naglikbatan na siya from high school, kabalo na ta kung asa na-locate ang centroid sa itong basic shapes. For rectangular, ang sa gani, di ba at its center lang yun. So, if this is L, also for triangular, 1/3 of, so if this is L, L ha? So 2/3 of L and 1/3 of L. So muna siya no from this pointed na points imuhang triangle until kang resultant force dara located ang imuhang centroid, no? So the centroid of your triangular shape is 2/3 of the length, no? From pointed load, and then from this point here 1/3 of length lang siya. So meaning if you're asked if asa na siya nakalocate or asa nag-act ang pointed load sa ato ang varying load. So of course, this is just the 1/3 no of 3. Ana lang, span sa imong triangle, 1/3 of 3. Okay? So sorry class kung medyo frustrated ko. I'm not angry or I'm not sa akong tone. I'm just frustrated kay this has been repeated, no? From statics, from dynamics, magamit gyapon siya, centroid, until sa to ang topic din sa engineering mechanics. So gusto ko nga ma-instill na siya sa inyong mga mind class. It is really very basic. So how much more pag-abot ninyo dito sa mga complicated na mga butang if you are to convert the what of distribution. I mean, I'm not talking directly no sa mga student but as a general ba so sa tanan kay earlier pod sa ako ang previous nga klase wala yapon nakatubag. So na pan lang ko na alarm. Okay, this is very basic. So we've been solving for this from previous pa lang nato na mga topics. So, mga structures nato. And ano lang kaayo maka-disappoint. Ana lang siguro. I know na this subject is really hard class, no? Kay I've heard from your PIT na output na, no? So you've shared your sentiments and your um, thoughts ba, no, or perspective regarding the subject. So by the way, I appreciate your output sa PIT, no, for the effort that you have exerted. So I'm happy to hear your side pod, no, your thoughts about this subject because indeed this is really hard class, no. So there are students nga they find this subject or they found this subject, no, very challenging, which is really true, no. So on my end pod, that is why I am trying my very best good na i-deliver siya sa inyo na as easy as possible nga sabton. That is why I am engaging with you to assess if you have really understood.
Sir, putol-putol gid ka sir, wala may mabatian. Last na is 2 minutes ago.
Nawala. Nasa daw internet. So, moment arm of the concentrated load nga taong gi-convert from varying load is 1/3 of 3, no? Yung third of 3 is just 1, di ba? So, kung isulat ko siguro ni diretso og 3 dari, basin maglibog ba, no? So, unsa pa may laing involved? Wala na, no? So, equal na to 0. So, in this equation, isa lang ato known variable, which is si AY. Therefore, makompute na to na siya directly, no? So, AY therefore is 89 kilonewtons. Next, for dy, so you can have it as, or you can solve for dy by summation of forces on y-axis or summation of moment at point A, no? So summation of forces on y-axis equal to 0. What are the forces on y-axis? Si AY, si dy, then si R downward, then also si 120. So AY plus dy minus 120 minus R, nga si 54 kilonewtons, no, equal to 0. Wala na may lain force involved. Since AY is obtained, which is pila ni siya, 89 kilonewtons, no? Therefore, dy is pila man eh, 120, 54, 89, this is 85 kilonewtons. Now na-solve na nato ang reactions, no? So we are to cut the segments na na, no, para ma-determine nato kung how much internal shear segment of our beam. Now, I like to give emphasis on how to determine. Mention ako no from previous meeting, if namati ka. So mag-change no or mag-change ang internal shear and moment sa imong beam at discontinuity. So pasabotan at discontinuity if there is forces no in the body of in the given system. So from left support as our reference point always. So i-examine mo siya. So mura bitaw kag mag-scan. So from that point until this point, so far, so pag-scan na to, wala pa tayo natabuan nga load, no? So constant lang siya all throughout. And then, eventually, at this point, na I applied load mo nga 120. So meaning, there is discontinuity. So from no loading until concentrated load, no? So stop ka din ha. So establish kag point. So ato siyang i-label as point B. And then, padayon ka o scan. Wala na po given load, no? At this segment, no? Or at this section sa imuhang beam. And then, at this point, nag-start na ang imuhang varying load. So, there is discontinuity na sad. So, establish na po ka point. So, that is point C, no? And then, for the rest of the beam, you have applied loading. So, at point B, no? So, meaning class, in this problem or in this structure, ikatulo na to putulo na nga to ang beam, no? So, ma-divide na to siya into 3 segments. A to B, B to C, and C to D. So, nagpasabot lang na siya nga ang internal shear and moment at A to B is different from B to C and C to D. So, naglahi-lahi sila og internal reaction. Kaya, of course, lahi-lahi po sila og loadings nga i-apply sa ilahan, no? So, ina na ang concept behind class. Sige. So, unahon na to ang A to B. So, if we are to cut for a section, considering the left side sa to ang structure, so mas dali siya i-analyze no if ang left side ato ang i-consider kay gamay raman ang forces involved, unless or rather if ang right side ato ang tan-awon, mas complicated siya no. Kay daghan forces involved. So mas dali if left side ang atong i-consider. So by that, segment AB kung sa ato makita, no, left side sa ato ang cutting section. So reaction AY, so siya lang no ang force nga involved. And wala na, di ba? Wala na laing forces involved. So si AY lang, which is equal to 89 kilonewtons. For a while class, wala ko i-disseminate na link for the panel number sa thesis. Okay, so sorry for the interruption no, na yung mga other agenda po nga nagaduman. Anyway, so if you are analyzing left side sa to ang beam, di ba, our internal shear is acting downward and counterclockwise ang moment. So from introductory na to na discussion here. So you have here side, you'll have this convention. If right side, sige, so to find for the equation for V and M in segment A, B, so summation of forces on y-axis to 0, so you have AY upward, so 89 positive sign convention, then minus V, therefore we have V, the internal shear at segment AB is equal to 89 kilonewton. So, constant lang siya class, no? At any given points in mga segment A to B, the same lang ang iyang internal shear, which is 89 kilonewtons. How about the moment, internal moment no, of segment A to B, having counterclockwise as positive, so M is counterclockwise, so positive sign convention of M, and then si 89 kilonewton, that will create negative sign convention since clockwise rotation ang iyahang convention or direction respect to this point here. So, minus 89 times moment arm. So, since wala man tan kabalo no, if pila ay distance ani niya, so we don't know if at what point ta nag-cut ana. That is why we have to express that one as a variable, no, as a function of x. So, this is x. So meaning, moment arm of your 89 kilonewton force is iyahang distance x. So wala na ilain force nga mag-cause of moment therefore equal to 0. So you have an equation for the internal of segment A to B, which is 89x. Sige, how about segment B to C section? Let's say, for example, at this point, this case, if magka-top B to C, this is X. Okay? So this is for segment B to C. So for segment B to C, AY nga 89 kilonewtons, and then si concentrated load nga 120 kilonewtons. And we know that at from point A, the point of action ni 120 kilonewton is 2 meters from point A. But we don't know if pila ni siya nga distance, no? So by that, if this is X, meaning this is X minus 2, no? So total length of X minus na tugdos, so muna to ang length here, no? I hope naka-follow. So the internal shear of this segment, no, is acting downward since left side na to i-consider. And moment is counterclockwise. So to find the equation for shear, so summation of forces equal to 0. You have 89 kilonewton, upward man siya, minus 120 since downward, minus V. No, wala nila in force involved. Therefore, to simplify, you have i-transfer natin sa right side sa itong equation ang V. 89 minus 120 is negative 31, no? Kilon B to C class, constant lang po ang iyahang internal shear, which is negative 1 kilonewtons. Okay? How about the moment? So the internal moment no, of segment B to C, you have counterclockwise na moment at this point or at the point of consideration. So positive sign convention, then the 18 kilonewton will create negative sign convention times moment arm X. And then si 120 kilonewton will have positive sign convention. So plus 120 times X minus 2, no, as its moment arm. Then equal to 0. Wala nila in force na maka-cause of rotation na sa to ang system. And therefore, MBC or the internal moment of segment B to C is equal to pila man ni siya. If you transfer na to siya, this will be 89x minus 120x plus 240. Therefore, your internal moment of segment B to C is, so 89 minus 120 is negative 31x plus 240. Okay? So this is our equation now for the internal moment of segment B to C. Lastly, for segment C to D, if we are to cut for a section and gyapon, mas easier siya tanawon, no? So sige lang, if we have time later, we will also solve ang right side na consideration, no? But in this consideration class mo taas atong solution because we will be having trapezoidal na section, no? Kay dili man ta nag-cut. So meaning we have this trapezoid, diba, sa to ang varying load. So inana siya. Anyway, so I hope nga we have extra time later para masolve po nato siya, no? Ala, for a while. Di na ako ma-detect ang... Okay, so if we are to consider the left side part of our segment C2D, so unsay makita nato, so si AY, si 120 kilonewton and a portion of the varying load. So if we are to draw the free body diagram for segment C2D, segment C2D, so this is AY nga 89 kilonewton, and then si 120 kilonewton, and then a portion of your varying load. Sige, so if ato na siyang i-establish ang distances to, this is X distance, this is 2 meters, diba? Then 1 meter. So how much is this one? So that is X minus 3, no? So total length of X, minusan na to of 3, no? So 2 plus 1 is 3 meters. So less this portion here, so mabilin is kani siya nga length, no? Or the portion. Sige, so since left side na pala ito ang i-analyze, so direction of our internal shear and internal moment would be downward and counterclockwise for the moment. Sige. So before that, we'll have to establish kung unsa ni siya, no? Kay wala man data for that. So ato na siyang i-label as Y. Ato na siyang express as Y for this varying. So of course, we have to determine the peak, no? So, ito na siyang express as Y, no? But if this is Y, we will be having X and Y in our equation, no? So we will be having two unknown variable, but sa ato ang condition or boundary condition given, your equation should be expressed as a function of X. Kay X distance man ang ato ang basis sa ato ang analysis. So, meaning, ato lang na siyang i-express no, as a function of X ang ato ang Y. Sige, so how do we do that? Saan man nato na siya pag-express? So, by relating the original figure, no? So, if, like, for example, nagkata at this section, so ato lang siyang i-project, no? So, di ba, this is the original load na given, kaning triangular load. So, if this is the original load given, so 36 kilonewton per meter, ang iyang peak, no? At this point, altitude sa iyang bigger X minus 3, di ba? And this one here, pila man ni siya. So of course, span sa imong triangular load, which is 3 meters. So this is 3 meters. So by ratio and proportion, you have y over x minus 3 is equal to 36 over 3. No? I hope naka-follow. So 36 over 3 is 12. So 12 times, so cross multiply x minus 3. So finally, we have expressed y no, as a function of x. So therefore, our resultant or the concentrated load of our varying load would be sama na siya. So 1/2 of y times x minus 3. No? So where your y is equal to 12 times the quantity of x minus 3. Okay? So by summation of forces on y-axis, sa galito ato ang shear, di ba? Downward. Ang ato ang moment is counterclockwise. So summation of forces on y-axis equal to 0. You have negative v minus 120 plus 89 minus r, no? So 89, then the rest is minus minus v minus 120 minus r, where r is 1/2 of y. So substituting the equation for y nga 12 times x minus 3 times x minus 3 as well equal to 0. Diba? So simplifying, we have, so 89 minus 120, this is negative 31. And if we transfer na ako sa right side sa equation, ang v, mag-positive na siya, no? So minus this whole expression. So pila man ni siya? So 12 over 2 is 6, no? Then x minus 3 times x minus 3, so that is squared. So simplifying, we have minus, excuse me, 6 times x minus 3 squared equal to v. Tama? No? So this is the simplified equation for the internal shear at segment B to C. Sorry, this is C to D na, no? So how about for the internal moment? You have, so positive sign convention for M. Then 89 times X, so negative sign convention. Si 120, so moment arm over 120 until point of consideration, which is at the cutting point, no? That is X minus 2. So plus 120 times X minus 2. And then si R, no? Positive sign convention because it will create counterclockwise rotation. R is, di ba, 1/2 of y, where y is 12 times x minus 3 times x minus 3 times the moment arm, no? Distance. So 1/3 of x minus 3. Di ba? Equal to 0. So we have this equation for moment, no? So simplifying the moment of segment C to D, you have, so if i-transpose na to siya, this will have 89x minus 120x plus 40 minus the whole expression. So if you simplify ta ni siya, laman ni siya. So 1/3 times half, so 1 over 6 times 12. So 12 over 6 times x minus 3 cube, no? Therefore, this is minus also 12. All right. So finally, nata equation for the internal moment no at segment C to D. So this is negative 31x plus 240 minus 2 times x minus 3 cube. Okay? So finally, pwede na nato i-plot ang ato ang shear and moment diagram using these equations. So, establish ba ito dalawa points? So, ipakita po na mo siya sa imuhang shear and moment diagram. So, i-plot mo na siya at that points. So, at point A, so for segment A to B, shear diagram and moment diagram. Sige, so as man ang ato ang di ba they have reactions here? This is 89 kilonewton and 85 kilonewtons. For shear diagram of segment A to B, so of course, ang atong basihan ana is together. But since our shear, internal shear at segment A to B is constant, ng 89 kilonewtons, so at any given point sa imuhang segment A to B, you have a constant value for internal shear. Meaning, you have this graph, no? So, I'd like to remind you, no, of our graph or how to plot the shear and moment diagram. So, no loading, 0 degree, 1 degree, second degree, third degree, and etc. So on and so forth. No? So, if wala given loading sa to ang structure or given beam, then imuhang shear and moment, rather imuhang shear diagram ana is of 0 degrees. No? Degree. No? So, plus 1 lang. So, from, let's say, this is the force diagram of your externally loaded beam. So, for FD, kung wala siya loading, paabot kang VD, mag 0 degree loading na siya, no? And then, pag abot kang MD, first degree loading. Okay? So, first degree loading, unsa to ang graph ana, di ba, it's just a slope or straight line, no, inclined. So, for second degree, that is quadratic equation or curvature na siya. Or parabola. So, inang iyahang nature, no, sa iyahang graph class. So, for segment B to C, ang atong basihan ani is, of course, the internal shear equation for segment B to C. But since the internal shear of BC is constant also, nga negative 31, so meaning, if ato na siyang i-plot, you have this negative 31. Straight line ng gihapon. Nag-send ko Hong Grace. Dili mo gud nila masin usahay. X equal to so the equations no, of internal shear and moment for segment C to D is only valid at x values 3 to 6. No? Kay if ang reference point is the left side most of our beam, then this is 0. So at this point, at point C, that is 3 meters, no? 2 plus 1. And then at this point, you have, this is 6 meters, no? So meaning, ang segment C to D is, di ba, from 3 to 6 lang nga value of X. That's why our consideration or the values of X nga to ang i-consider for segment C to D nga equation is from 3 to 6 meters. Okay, so substituting V to VCD, so at x equal to 0, at x equal to 3 rather. So if x is equal to 3, na siya kang point C, no? So at point C, asa man ang internal shear sa to ang segment C to D. So that should be equal to negative 31 as well para mo connect siya sa to ang previous nga segment. So negative 31 minus 6 times 3, no? From 3 to 6 man. So 3 minus 3 squared, you have negative 31. So at x equal to 3, negative 31 yapon na nga to ang coordinate, no? Or ang ato ang internal shear at point C. So at x equal to 6, you have negative 85. And asa man na locate ang x equal to 6. So of course, kang point D. No? So naa siya diri, let's say for example, at this point, negative 85. Okay? Now, the nature, the consideration sa imuhang graph. If sa imuhang force diagram, you have first degree already, no? First degree man ni siya, class. Meaning, pag abot sa imong shear diagram, second degree na dapat na siya, no? So, at shear diagram, second degree dapat siya. And ang sa itong style, ato lang i-adapt ang iyahang nature sa iyahang curve. So, meaning, if ato na siyang i-copy at this point, so from starting point at until point D, so you have this graph, no? Unfortunately, dili man na siya mao ang ato ang goal, no? Dili man dari nga part with in which at point D naman kay negative 5 ang ato ang location sa ato ang internal shear, no, of the beam. So what you will be doing is rotate or i-flip rather, no, or i-mirror ang right term. So i-mirror nimo siya. So ana siya, class. So this is the correct convention of your graph. And ma-determine na to nga sakto niya ato ang pagka-plot if mo connect tanan points, no, from 0 to 0 na siya. So nilutaw, di ba? But take note that you have an upward force at point A, no? So meaning from 0 to 89. So ni-connect siya, no? And then wala nag-connect ang 2 points, no, at point B. But remember that there is a concentrated load at that point, which is 120 kilonewtons. So 89 minus 120 is negative 31, di ba? Ang concept ng class is mura ka og nagsaka naog bitaw. So from 89 mo naog daw ka og 120, no? So asa man na siya sa negative nga coordinate. So it is negative 31. No? Ni-connect ra gihapon siya. And then at point D, you have an upward force of 85 kilonewton. So meaning from this point, dali mo siya nag-end until zero, no? So nag-zero-zero siya, class. So this is now our shear diagram for this given beam. So take note that this is a second degree curve. For the moment diagram, so we have this equation 89x, and this is only valid for values of x equal to 0 to 2. No? Kung tanaw na to siya sa figure, your A to B is from the reference nga point A. So, meaning, at x equal to 0, which is naan ang point A, no? Your moment is equal to 0 as well, since our equation for segment A to B is 89 times x. So if x is equal to 0, so 0. In A, you have moment. There is equal to 2, right? Equation for you have at point P 28, no? As the point of B of your internal moment at segment A to B, saan na to na siya pag-connect? Taline lang man siya. So if you have, hala, naputol na sad. Okay, so if you have 0 degrees sa shear diagram, so mag plus 1 ka no, paabot ni mo kang moment diagram. So your graph at moment diagram would be 1 degree, no? Naka 1 degree na siya, class. So either upward or downward, or increasing or decreasing ba siya na slope. So to determine that one, ang ato ang basihan pod is the shaded area, no, of segment A to B sa iyahang shear diagram. So if you notice, this is the positive section or region of your shear. So these are the negative region of your shear as well. So meaning, since positive man na siya, so increasing ang ato ang graph ana, which is true, no? So from 0 to 1, 7, 8. So that is just straight line, class, no? And if you notice also that the equation for our internal moment at segment A to B is just linear. 89x lang man siya, di ba? So, ni-support na siya sa ato ang shortcut nga pag-determine sa nature sa ato ang graph, class. For segment B to C, ang sa itong equation sa itong internal moment, di ba, you have negative 31 plus 240. So, negative 31 times x plus 240, where the values of your x varies from pila man, x equal to, so from left support at point A, 2 to 3, no? So nag-start mo siya kang point B, B to C man, so 2 to 3. X is equal to 2 to 3 meters. Okay? So substituting the value of x equal to 2. So asa man na siya nga atong makuha na ano kay para connect siya sa ato ang previous segment na reaction siyang moment. Sila to, di ba, you have negative 31 times x equal to 2 plus 240, you have positive 178. So the same, no? So, naa siya ani nga also. And then at point C, pila man ang atong value for x, that is 3 meters, di ba? So substituting that one to our equation for segment B to C, x is equal to 3, negative 31 times 3 plus 240, you have 147. So if I were to plot that one here, so since this is 178, so let's say na-adding a point na si 147. Sige. So, what would now be the nature of our graph or the direction of our graph? So, if from our shear diagram, naka 0 degree siya, no? Naka-straight lang siya, no? Naka-horizontal line lang siya. So, pag-abot kang moment diagram, dapat 1 degree na siya, no? And also notice that the equation for segment B to C na moment is linear po siya. So, meaning, 1 degree, no? Ang ato ang graph for segment B to C for moment diagram, but is it increasing or decreasing? So, basihan nimo ang positive or negative region sa imong shear diagram. So, BC is on negative region of your shear diagram, meaning decreasing ni siya class. Ana iyang orientation, no? In this manner. So finally, for segment C to D, you have an equation for segment C to D. Moment is equal to negative 31 times x plus 240 minus 2 times x minus 3 cube, where values of x vary from 3 to 6. So, di na ko na siya expand kaya I'll explain that one earlier already. Kung anong 3 to 6 ato ang consideration, no? So, negative 31 times 3 plus 240 minus 2 times 3 minus 3 cube, 147, no? So, ni-connect lang siya ani nga point. And then at point D, your x value there should be equal to 6, no? So, substituting the equation of the internal moment of segment C to D, where x value is equal to 6, so 0, no? So at this point, you have 0 moment also, which is correct, no? Kaya at supports 8 and D, no? 0 moments, diba na sila? So na-close gyapon na nga to ang moment diagram class. Now, the graph, no, of your C to D nga moment diagram. So if this is second degree, so mag third degree na ta, no? So if i-copy lang yapon no iyang orientation, no, in this manner, and tama iyang orientation, kaya naman ta dali na point padulong. But if in any case nga at point D, na siya dali nga point, so you have to mirror that one, no, ana siya. And then if na moment dali, so that will close out the moment diagram class, no? But dili na siya mahitabo since 0 moment man ta kang pin support. So ako lang siyang gihatag emphasis nga if dili maabot ang imuhang location, then you have to mirror that one. Okay, so this is now the shear and moment diagram of our given beam.
Although I can leave some notes in the share.
So anyway, so the question, sorry for the interruption class, kay there is some technical issues with the oral defense. Anyway, the equation 2 asks us to determine the maximum shear and moment, no? So we are to determine the maximum shear and moment. So therefore, the maximum shear is equal to, so absolute value class no? So regardless of unit. So 89 kilonewtons, no? Kita natin sa tong graph. For maximum moment of our beam, so kung tanaw na to ato ang moment diagram, so the the peak point is 178, no? So this is 178 kilonewton meters. So these are our final answers, class. Questions or clarifications? Wala, kay wala nga sabtan. Kasi kaputol, no? Sige lang, i-review na lang ang ato ang session. So I understand nga sige kaputol. Sige kog ka notify na I've been disconnected ako no to the internet. So I apologies for that because I have no control over that. Wala control sa internet connection and all I can do is deliver as much as possible efficiently. Anyway, we have, I think, recorded session man siguro. I hope na na-record niya siya, no? And then, study na lang yun. Anyway, see you on Thursday. Then, if wala na questions or clarifications for this session, then thank you for your cooperation today. And okay, for a while, before tamo i-dismiss no, magatandang sa dito ta. So, mo to siya class, no? As promised, we are to solve pa man the right side. Ako po rin ipakita sa inyo ano ang solution. If we are to consider right side, no? Sa to ang beam. So, if kaning ito i-consider class, we'll have this. Di na ko siya i-totally solve, but tagaan ta mag-overview, no? So, i-continue na lang ninyo, okay? So, as well as, sa ako ang previous class, wala na ko ni siya padayon kay na out of time yapon me. But, gitagaan lang ta mo og overview, no? On how to solve if mag-try mo sa right side sa to ang beam. So, this is dy, right? And this is, it is equal to 85 kilonewtons. So, if this is the case, class, di ba ang ato ang consideration, if right side ang atong i-consider is upward ang shear and clockwise ang moment. So, if inani ang case class, we are to break this one into simple distributed loads, no? So, we have this trapezoidal and varying load. So, that these loads will have different resultant forces, no? So, this is for RE and for RV, for varying resultant force. Nga naman, kaya dili man sila the same og centroid class, no? So, dili na sila katugma ang ilahang centroid. Kay for the distributed load, for uniformly distributed load, diba, it's just L over 2. And then for varying load, 1/3, 2/3, diba? So, inaniyahang convention class. Okay, so if this is internet connection, if sir. Ano, lain lagi ang internet today. Wait, unsa ba na color? Green na lang. So, if kaniya nga to ang basihan ng class, no, right side, let's say for example. So, of course, ang x distance kaya po nato is from the leftmost part of our beam. So, this is x. So, if this is x, pila man ang nabilin? Kani sa to ang cutting section. That is just 6 minus x, no? Total length of your beam minus x distance is muna siya ang bilin nga to nga distance. So, 6 minus x. So, meaning class, if this is 6 minus x, this is 1/2 of 6 minus x, no? As well as this distance here. And then, for the varying load, this is 1/3 of 6 minus x. So, ana siya class. So, now, wala ta kabalo no at Sa uniformly distributed load, if pila ang iyahang magnitude. So ato na siyang ilet as y. So in the same manner, we are to express this variable y as a function of x. No? Kaya ang ato amang boundary condition is as a function of x. So, similarly with the tama ba? Yeah, so 12 times x minus 3. So meaning class, if you are to solve for the summation of forces on y-axis equal to 0, what are the forces involved? So upward direction nga v, so positive minus rd. No? So the resultant force d. So wala na to siya gisolve, but ato na lang siyang substitute directly here, no? And that is just y nga 12 times x minus 3 times the span nga 6 minus x minus downward yapon si RV, no? 1/2 of so if the peak ano no magnitude of our varying load is 36 kilonewton meter, therefore this is 36 minus y, no? 1/2 of 36 minus y, where your y is, ako na siyang i-substitute directly class para di na kayo mataas ang equation. 12 minus 3 times the span nga 6 minus x. Okay? So, napabalaing involved sa ato ang summation of forces on y-axis. So, 85. We forgot 85, no? So, plus 85 equal to 0. Think ko na naman siguro. 55 y times 6 minus x. Yeah. So, this is the equation. No? Then, simplify. Then, maka-obtain ka og equation of force shear. Then, of course, dapat ay mo ma-obtain na value for shear at x values, at x equal to 3 and x equal to 6. So, dapat 147 and 0 po na siya, no? Para correct yung mga answer. So, you can continue this one na lang siguro. It's just that muna siya ang approach. Okay? Sige. Kung ano lang siguro, for your attendance, kindly create a Google Sheet na lang pod, no? Katong gibuhat before pod. I-continue na lang pod siguro dito ang inyong attendance. So for those who are present today, i-plot na lang inyong names dito, no? Para dito lang ako i-check. So din ako mag-check nga live for today. Ano na siguro. So if wala na questions or clarifications, then thank you sa inyong cooperation today. Then God bless everyone and class dismiss.
Thank you, sir.